Hey guys, it's Lindsay. We are doing the Divine Partners reading. As always, if any of these messages don't align for you, please take only what you need and leave the rest. This is a group reading, so not every message is going to be for every person, but if it feels like it is aligned and it is confirming what you already know to be true, then it is for you. Okay? And if you would like a personal reading, you can check out the links in bio, and I also appreciate any feedback or comments that you guys may have. When I'm using the words divine partners, we are talking about two people who come into union together as part of a soul contract. I may or may not use words such as masculine and feminine. That does not directly correlate to gender. It is more an association of the traits and or qualities that each partner or possible partner exudes. Okay, so I feel like you have been in a period of questioning. You're in a pause. You have stopped maybe you've stopped all communication, but you've kind of have slowed the communication in this connection. And not for the reasoning that anything particularly awful has happened, but for the reasoning that you are rethinking and questioning if this is the right path to follow. And the rethinking and the questioning comes from years of choosing the wrong connection, or this belief that you have chosen the wrong connections in the past. And so now with this new connection, you have slowed things down significantly in order to feel into if this is right for you or not. And now I would usually say that this is a very smart move, and it is, but I feel it has gone beyond the point of evaluation and moved into the point of fear. So you've kind of backed yourself into a space where you don't even know if you want to move forward with this person, because now you are fearful of what that connection means, and not just for the bad but also for the good. Okay, in some ways it does read as a determination of value and worth, right? So when we feel we are not worthy, or we are not valuable enough to receive a connection, we will automatically put stops to that, subconsciously or consciously, right? And that's very much what it feels like. It feels like throwing on the brakes and telling yourself you're evaluating the connection, but in actuality, you are throwing on the brakes out of fear. Okay? And not to say that fear that this person is actually wrong for you, or something has occurred again, that is harmful. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is fears based on prior patterning, okay? And the way this is coming through is those fears are not valid. And I feel like you already know this, because I feel like this person has shown up in ways that no other relationship has shown up for you. They have held you and spoken to you in ways that are supportive, that are open, and that have clear and healthy boundaries. And they're willing to work with you through any fears, any struggles that you may have around relationship. And in your life too. It extends out to someone who wants to help you in your life, right? Who wants to support you in your life. King of Pentacles. This is the energy I want to see in a relationship, these two, because this tells me with the King of Pentacles that this person is bringing stability and support to you, not only monetarily, but also in the form of connection and home. They want to build a home with you. They want to build a family with you. And They have given you space to evaluate if that's what you really need, and they've really given you space. And they've checked in when it was appropriate. And still you put them on hold, you put them on the back burner because of these fears that you have of getting into another relationship and not having it pan out. And not just not having it pan out, but have it actually be detrimental to your life. Because you have seen it happen so many times before. Over and over and over again. You've relived that pattern multiple times. Where it's no longer just a pattern, but it is also a fear. Okay? And this person is giving guardian energy. So really the message coming through first and foremost is to take a step back from your own thoughts. Look at this person from an outside perspective. And this is so funny because on the bottom of the deck, face the other way, there is our devil. This is what you fear because you've seen it come to fruition in the past. You fear this, the harm that this type of person brings. And so you are laying this imagery over the King of Pentacles. And they have already shown you who they are. But still you're here. And so now is the time for you to break down that, to dispel this heavy and shadow-like energy in your mind, because it is in your mind, and allow them to show you who they are, because who they are is the King of Pentacles. Who they are is someone who offers long-term commitment and the ability to provide stability and support to not only you, but to any family that you might create together, to any home that you might create together. You've kept yourself locked in your mind, holding on to these shadows of the past. And I also think it's going to be important for you to receive outside expertise. So if that looks like going to therapy for this, if it looks like having someone to kind of mirror these thoughts to you, someone who professionally can do that and help you break down the barriers around that, then I would advise, the way these cards are coming through, that is the opportunity for you to take. You need someone with expertise. You need someone who knows what they're talking about and who can evaluate from a non-biased standpoint this relationship that you've been blooming into, because you have been blooming into, and it's this cold feet. And the king is still standing there. The king's still waiting. Because the king also sees that. They see that this kind of scared reaction is a reaction from the place of surviving. You are the fight or flight risk, and they know that. Okay. But they're also holding space for you to figure it out on your own, and it is time for you to figure it out on your own and seek the expertise that you need. And show up as the Queen of Pentacles. Because the other thing is, when we are afraid of going down a certain path, it's not the fear just of something that will happen to us. It is the fear that we cannot control the outcome, and that we do not have the tools and or capabilities to move through that experience, right? That's ultimately what fear is. It is the fear of lacking the capability. It is the fear of being presented with a challenge and being unable to come out on the other side. So it is not just the exterior loss of control. It is the interior lack of capability. Do you understand? And I think you are more capable than you know, because when you address this, when you find that person to help you address this, and it is not going to be the partner, because they are holding space for you, but they are not the one to help you address this concern, and I want to be really clear on that, okay? You need to have someone to help you address this fear who is not your partner, okay? Because that's when you get too entangled together, okay? You have to have someone outside of the relationship help you address this concern and or fear. Because once you address this concern and or fear, you come back as the Queen of Pentacles, which is the equal match to the King of Pentacles. And this is the relationship I would want to see for ultimate divine union. And I feel like you know you're coming to this space where you're finally understanding your capabilities and your ability to hold yourself. It's almost like you need someone to see from the outside and to affirm that for you, okay? So I would, again, advise that affirmation. We have the Empress, because I do think that you will be growing a family with this person, whether that is, you know, having children, having a home, having pets, whatever. For some of you, I actually see like having a farm. So like really kind of that, those acts of homemaking. Once you address those concerns, you fully bloom into this relationship and you move forward. Because the King of Pentacles energy is very earth energy. They will wait and they will hold space, and they're very good at holding space, right? That's what they do. They're king of the physical realm. They're steadfast and loyal, okay? And they have their focus directly on you, and now is the time for you to move with your intuition on the next steps on how to dismantle those patterns within you. And also there's something around embracing your intuition, because I feel like what has ever happened before with this devil kind of energy that has repeated in multiple partners, I feel like you've lost connection to your intuition, and now is the time to reconnect. See, we have the white wolf and the dark wolf, and that's the balance between light and dark. And I feel like you went so deeply into the darkness with these people who upheld these patterns that you no longer trust the guiding light of your intuition. And so now is the time to bring that back, right? Let's see if we get any other confirmation for that. It's a very strong reading, because we're getting a lot of major arcana, but we're also getting king and queen. So that's a very, very strong kind of life arc reading for this divine partners reading. And there's something you have to, okay, I feel like in many ways the way you've kind of been, this person's been holding space for you and you've kind of shut down as far as speaking to them. You need to tell them what's going on, okay? Not necessarily for them to guide you through it again. I feel like it is, you need guidance from someone who has an expertise in that, but for them to know. You need to update them and be like, I'm working on this because it's been very difficult. You need to open those lines of communication, because to not do that is to live in the fear, right? Because I feel like they have some sage advice to share with you, and they're also going to help to dissuade some of those fears that you have, that you've been creating in your mind while you've not been in contact with this person, and or only been in contact a little bit, okay? So I really need you to kind of work on communicating with them and being upfront and honest and open in communication. Because the other thing, we're coming back to this again, the shadow aspect that you keep kind of coming into contact with through different people, it really did a number on your communication abilities, because you were afraid to communicate with this person because you were afraid of their reaction. So now you're coming into play with this person, and I don't even want this card over here, we're just gonna toss it. Now you're coming into play with this person. You have to step up to the plate and start communicating again, and being clear and upfront with your feelings and what is weighing heavily upon you, because they're able to support that, right? Okay, anything else coming through? Yeah, you've been in your head too much and not actually sharing in your communication with this partner, this opportunity. And there's such balance and stability showing up in this relationship. As I said, we have the King and Queen of Pentacles, and that's a perfect pairing, okay? That is a perfect match. And you really have to get out of your head and out from beneath the shadows of those past partnerships in order to open to the possibility of this. We're getting pairs. So again, this is a perfect match. I'm saying again. So we had the King of Pentacles. This is stability. And the Queen of Pentacles, we have the Emperor and the Empress. So Emperor and Empress are father and mother. They are the seated pair, father and mother. And again, that's emphasizing family. So again, there's a very good and strong chance that this would be a long-term relationship and you would be able to build a family together. You just have to work through your own fears and old patterning and old shadows, because what has shown up in the past is what is not showing up here, okay? And you need to come to terms with this new reality, okay? And that is our Divine Partners reading. My name is Lindsey Rose. If this was helpful to you, please comment, like, subscribe. I do appreciate any feedback, and if you would like your own reading, you can check out the links. Otherwise, I wish you guys well.